So how is it possible that we can declutter our life for good and actually live a minimalist and intentional life with just the things that make us happy and add value? I think most of us have experienced that we declutter a certain area, but a few weeks, months, or years later, it's not decluttered anymore. We need to declutter it again, and it goes on, and it never really ends. And while I think part of that is normal, I think another part of that we can actually change. But while I thought in the past that the hardest part of decluttering is just making the decision, like coming to the decision that I don't need an item anymore, even though it's maybe hard or I have still some emotions attached to that item, I now think that's just a symptom of the actual hard thing. And while most of us declutter their stuff, when we go on to declutter our digital lives, our like time management, our mindsets and beliefs and habits, we realize that making the decision to declutter something is absolutely not the hardest part, but making sure that we actually declutter it, that it actually goes out of our life after making that decision is way, way harder. I even see that with stuff. Sometimes things that I have decluttered end up lying around in my house for another year. And I've experienced it so many times with beliefs and mindsets and habits that I thought I decluttered, but then they make their way back into my life. And that is because I really think it all starts with our minds and our mental health. Because as long as we have unhealthy mindsets and beliefs about our things, about our time, about our worth, this will be reflected in the stuff we own, in the way we spend our time. And no matter how many times we declutter our wardrobes, as long as we believe that we have nothing to wear, that shopping will make us happy, that spending money and having new clothes will make us prettier or more desirable or more successful, as long as we have these beliefs, new clothes will find their way into our wardrobes and we will have to declutter it again and again and again. So naturally the solution is to declutter our minds, to do some mental decluttering and really pay attention to our mental health to make sure that we actually work towards the goal we have, that we actually do not like self-sabotage our minimalism goals, our happiness goals, living intentionally and living the way we want up to our values. But that is definitely harder said than done. But today I'm here to give you 5 tips that I myself am working on as well, of course, to move into that direction, declutter mentally and declutter for good, to actually like change the bad habits and beliefs we have that make the problem that we see with our stuff or with our time management come into our lives again and again. And the first step, which I think is really important and that I do from time to time again because I think we can lose sight of it, is get an overview. Like get an overview of where you are in life, how happy you are, if there are areas where you really want to improve, if there are areas where you feel overwhelmed. So there are definitely different tools to do that, and you have to find the solution that works best for you. Just be able to pinpoint to like the areas where you feel overwhelmed. Where are the areas where you have too much stuff? Where are areas where you need like to learn something new? Maybe there are areas that really need to be simplified, areas where you spend too much time for no return. And I think it's really important to get this overview first to then move on to actually doing something about it. Because when we're not knowing where we want to go and what's actually the problem, then it's really hard fixing it or trying to like improve. But sometimes this first step can be hard, or even if you kind of like somehow manage to do it, I think the second step is really, really important as well. And that is like talk it out or share it somehow. And it doesn't matter if it's just a diary, if it's a bullet journal, if it's a close friend, if you do art to release it. I think it really, really helps to somehow articulate or put the stuff that we have in our mind outside into the world, no matter again if another person hears it or not. But I think what's really, really important here as well is to acknowledge that it's absolutely okay to ask for help. And a lot of times it would be really, really helpful to not just talk to close friends or your diary, but to actually seek professional help. I really believe that most of us could benefit from like professional therapy or something similar. And so I think it's amazing that this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp, spelled better, HELP, is an online service that provides therapy from over 20,000 licensed therapists. So the way it works is that you go to their website and you answer some questions, and it's pretty simple. It's like really not overwhelming at all. And then in less than 48 hours, you get matched with your personal therapist. For me, it took like, I think 5 minutes to answer the questions, and it took like 4 hours to get a therapist. And of course, I know therapy can still be intimidating, but I think BetterHelp does a really great job to make it as easy as possible. So the process of like signing up and answering these questions are really simple, but then also you can choose between like live chat sessions, phone therapy, or video therapy. So you can just choose the way that's best for you, and you can also choose for every individual session, so you can change that. And what you can also change is your therapist, because I think that's really, really important as well. Of course, these are all licensed professional therapists, but still, sometimes you just don't match with the first person you're assigned to. And so it's easy and free of charge to just change your therapist. And like that, they can ensure that the more than 3 million people that take charge of their mental health with BetterHelp get actually the best therapy experience possible that actually helps them in their life. And little side note here, I live in Germany and I have thought about getting therapy for many, many years out of various reasons, because I also think I could benefit from it. But if you want to get therapy here, it's on one hand really, really expensive if it's not covered by health insurance. And if you want it to be covered by health insurance, or even if you're paying yourself, sometimes you can wait up to a year to actually get your first real therapy session. So I think BetterHelp is really a good way to get started right now, to make it easy. And if you think you can benefit from it as well, I will leave you a link down below. It's betterhelp.com/ecofriend, which gives you 10% off your first month with BetterHelp. So make sure to go check it out. And now let's move on to the third step. So the third step for me is a really basic tip, but I think it's so important. And that is declutter your space. Now, yes, we are talking about mental decluttering, but I think decluttering your space is still a really important step to take. And no matter if you've done it before as well, if you've mixed that up, but I think at least here, when you have clarity about what the problem is, and when you're working about like figuring out, talking it out, and learning more about yourself, it's really the time to also take charge of your surroundings. Because decluttering your space and getting rid of like visual distractions, clutter that's weighing you down, and maybe also just making your air more healthy by removing all the dust, can actually also benefit your mental health, your happiness, and just your overall contentment with your life a lot as well. And I think it's good to start now, because now you already have a certain idea of what the problem is and where you're going, so you can declutter accordingly to make sure that what you declutter and what you keep actually supports the idea of the life you want to live. And then number 4 is actively do things that make you happy. By doing stuff that makes you happy, I really mean doing things. So not watching your favorite TV show, not sleeping in, even though I think sleep is very important and I hope you can get enough sleep somehow. I don't mean consuming more things in any ways like shopping or in any other way. I mean go and do things. Move your body, experience things. Get together with other people, because I think social contacts and friendships are a really, really important part of our mental health and of our like overall happiness as well. And something that I'm discovering again and again and again is that as soon as you like focus on doing things, on like actually using your body to interact with the world, stuff and worries become less important. So it's a good way to take away the focus from clutter and stuff and consumption and thoughts and mind spirals and things like that. And then the 5th step is just implementing the things into your life, finding routines that work, trial and error the things that you're trying out. making sure you can do things that make you happy on a daily or weekly basis. And it doesn't have to be like 5 hours at a time, but maybe just 10 minutes of something that really makes you happy, and something where you can like experience yourself making a change to the world, interacting again with the world instead of just passively consuming and like using your body to just do what you have to do, but also find stuff that you want to do. That's what I mean. So learn more about yourself, establish routines that have a positive impact on you. Maybe also start a list of things that you like doing, because sometimes when we're just struggling and overwhelmed, we don't even know where to start. And then when you have a list of all the things that you know will make you happy, sometimes you maybe don't know before you start, but definitely after you've done that activity, then you can kind of learn to just live a more happy and intentional life. And especially when you have this framework of routines, and when you get used to doing the things that make you happy, it will actually take you in the direction you want to go in life. So I think instead of just being stuck and being overwhelmed, it really helps to find this path that leads you to living good days and good months and good years. And again, I really want to say that that's advice I need to take to my heart as well. I need to learn these things, I need to establish these things more. But these are just like the thoughts and the things I've been trying to do for the past few years, without like being 100% there, of course. So I do think on our minimalist journey, in order to declutter things for good, in order to change our lives, to actually change something and not end up in the same place again, we have to start with our minds. Our minds are something really precious, and they help our bodies, they help in our entire life. And so I think we have to take care of them and make sure that we do some mental decluttering, make sure that we can open up to others and resolve the problems and the issues, and get to know ourselves better, to work with ourselves into the direction we want to go into, and stop working against ourselves. And with that said, I think that's the end of the video. I really hope it was helpful in some way. Please leave me your best tips for mental decluttering, for living an intentional and enjoyable life down below in the comments. Don't forget to check out BetterHelp. The link is down below in the description. And now I also want to link you another video to watch right now. And it's why less is more, and the benefits of minimalism and how I experience them. But I'm pretty sure you will like it as well. So I hope I'll see you right there, right now. And otherwise, until next time. Bye.